Hey guys, so on this week's Geeky AF, we're going to be talking about why Dr. Selar would have been a good mate for Worf. So, those of you that don't know, Dr. Selar, the Vulcan doctor in Schizoid Man, I believe is what it was called. Uh, it's the episode of season 2 of Next Generation where they drop Dr. Selar, Data, Worf, and I think Riker, if I'm not mistaken, on the planet, and they meet this old guy and this young blonde on this planet. And the Enterprise warps off, does whatever they got to do, and maybe a day or so later, I think they come back and pick them all up, and the old man's dead, and we find out in the middle of the episode or whatever, like the doctor transfers his brain into Data, and at the end of the episode, Picard does this talk, and the guy gets himself out of Data's body and dies and downloads himself into the Enterprise databanks, whatnot, and everything's peachy keen hunky dory. So that being said, and I know that there's going to be some next gen enthusiasts whose heads are exploding because I'm I'm doing a really bad rundown of the episode. That I wasn't a huge fan of the episode myself. So forgive me. Seasons 1 and seasons 2 are either hit or miss for me, and that's one of the episodes that was really miss. But one of the elements that I really did like was Dr. Selar. I liked the actress, and she ended up playing Kalar, I believe is her name. That's Worf's mate, and she also plays the female Q on Voyager. And she played a couple other roles on Star Trek, I believe. I don't really recall right offhand what they were. But she had pretty good chemistry with the other actors. But the one thing, and you can see in the thumbnail, you'll see a picture of the of Worf and Dr. Selar together, and that they were supposed to actually be a couple. That was supposed to be one of the long-term storylines that was supposed to happen. There was a lot of long-term storylines that were supposed to happen that didn't materialize, like Geordi and Ensign Sonia Gomez. That's one that a lot of fans know about. That never materialized because they felt that that actress had more of a brother-sister relationship with Geordi than a love interest, which is really sad because I don't feel like they gave the actress enough credit. I think she did really good. And I'm not sure why they decided to take the Dr. Selar character and not give her the love interest. Because I feel like it would have actually made a lot of sense to give Worf someone who's kind of polar opposite in some regards and completely on the same page on others. But I feel personally, and I really want to hear your guys' opinion on this one because I feel like there's a lot of room for debate. Because Worf had throughout all of the history of Star Trek, he had some of those controversial romances with people. He had Kalar, and forgive me if I butchered her name. I'm not really good with names. He had Troy, which I think most people agree on was not a very good match. And then he had Jadzia Dax, which was the best. I think most people agree that was spot on. One of the greatest in all of Treks. So I go into this thinking about all of those, but again, predating all of those, this being what was supposed to have been the initial thing for Worf in the terms of romantic interest, I think it would have been a really interesting because she would have been one of the characters who, like Yar in the first season, which I could have also seen as a romantic interest for Worf, she would have held him grounded from the aspect of, the superior strength, which I could have easily seen him and her going at it just like Jadzia and him. her holding her own in ways that a human female couldn't. Tasha Yar being the exception. Um, I could have also seen her um, understanding that, drawing that line between these are not human ways, these are Klingon ways, and you have to be approached at it from that perspective. She doesn't need things explained to her or dumbed down, and understanding that, hey, you're going to think like a Klingon, and we need to approach this in that way. Even though this isn't my way, we need to approach this from that perspective. Whereas a human, like, take Troy, for instance, she would try to say, well, Worf, you can't do this that way. Let's do it this way. And she would try to make him come over to her side or her way of thinking. Um, Dr. Selar, being a Vulcan, she wouldn't have that mentality because she would know that's not logical. Logic is you are a Klingon and you would think in this manner. So those are two reasons why I think they would make a really good couple. And I think Worf would appreciate the fact that those are two levels which they are equal standing. He wouldn't have to put on that facade that he does with humans. He could let that guard down, and he could, in a sense, be vulnerable in a way that with humans he really can't. So that's my opinion of it. And again, like, not a lot of people know that they were supposed to be together. Again, I don't know the behind the scenes reason. I don't know if it was I don't know if it was a problem with the actress. I don't imagine it would be, considering she came back several times for Kelar and then came back as the female Q. And then, like I said, I believe she was several times as a guest as different characters. So I don't believe it was a problem with the actress. I don't know. Maybe it was availability. And maybe they specifically wanted her for Dr. Selar, and that was something they just had to have. I'm not sure of the specifics, but I feel like that was a real missed opportunity, just like with Geordi and Sonia Gomez. I feel like that was a missed opportunity because with Geordi, that was almost turned into a joke of having the bad romance, which season 3 of Picard fixed that, even though I don't believe they said who the wife was to the kids. It's imagined that it was Leah, but I don't believe they mentioned who it was. So anyway, that's my thoughts on the matter. I really feel like Worf should have gotten with Dr. Selar. I feel like they would have made a really good couple. But that being said, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know what you think. Comment below. Let me know. And if you like what you see and you want to see more, hit the subscribe button and click like. Let me know, and you'll see more. So, all right, guys. With that being said, be genuine, be safe, and keep on geeking on, guys.